The community project Clicr.ru and leading international NGO Oxfam couldn't stay away from a day like October the 16th, World Food Day, a day on which people throughout the world talk about the close connection between climate change and food security. The day was initially established by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Interestingly enough, even though the organization was formed back in 1945 in order to address the problem of hunger following the Second World War, the problem is still very much relevant today. Why is the food security problem such an important issue today? According to global statistics, about 1 billion people went to bed hungry every day in 2009. This means that despite technological and agricultural progress in the world, people are still fighting hunger. Today's event was organised especially for journalists, so that they would be better able to cover the topic of global hunger and food security. The purpose of such events is not only to inform people about the problem of hunger, food security and climate change, and how all these problems are related, but also to bring these problems to the public's attention by offering solutions to them. We invited many people who contributed to covering this topic in the Russian mass media by working in cooperation with international NGOs. Among the event's participants were representatives of companies that are already contributing to the future of Russia's food security. We will discuss the production of industrial biofuel. We believe this to be a misguided development choice since it pushes the problem of food security further back. We will also have a practical workshop on cooking healthy and delicious food made from local products. This will not only support local producers in the regional economy, but also help eliminate dependency on imported food products, since food imports promote imbalances in the global environment. We will cook spaghetti with zucchini and tomato sauce. Very healthy and organic food, and we won't be using heat for cooking. Community project Clicr.ru is proud to present for the first time in Russia a manifesto on climate change and the future of food security. This manifesto was prepared by the International Commission of Experts on the Future of Food Security and by Russian expert Alexander Baranov. The manifesto was offered to us so that we could discuss the principles of food security against the background of climate change and a means for ensuring food security in Russia. We think that the key solution is a transition to organic and environmentally friendly agriculture. Commercialized agricultural industry is a major component of climate change, and at the same time, it's affected by climate change itself, including droughts of the kind that we witnessed this summer, as well as floods and so on. Conversely, organic food production is a lot more sustainable, and its products are much healthier for people. We believe that the country needs to make an economic transition to fair and sustainable food distribution in the future, and self-sufficient farms are a perfect example of this. Luckily, we're seeing individuals and organizations today that are working to solve this problem by ensuring food security for themselves, their children and relatives, along with other people they know. We get together on Sundays and cook food. Then we collect this food and distribute it amongst the poor. The issue of food security is closely connected with genetically modified organisms, GMOs. Since it's not yet clear how GMO food products affect people's health. No one can be 100% sure whether these products are healthy or harmful. With this in mind, we think that the use of GMOs should be prohibited until there is conclusive data on the matter. We invited Irina Yermakova specifically to talk to participants about GMOs. We conducted research on GMOs, studied the effects of GMOs on rats, and our discoveries shocked us. We saw high death rates among small rats in the first generation during the first 2 or 3 weeks of their lives. An astounding 50% of rats died, while surviving animals didn't have offspring. Moreover, when we studied the inner organs of the dead animals who were fed with genetically modified soy, we saw significant malformations. Considering this, we are very alarmed. Even though GMOs may be the future of the world, its use in food products at the moment shouldn't be allowed. It's too early to use them. Scientists must develop a safe means of generating transgenic or genetically modified organisms, which should be scrutinized to ensure their security. Unfortunately, this is not being done at the moment. The problem of climate change is also closely related to the matter of biodiversity. With this in mind, we claim that genetically modified products and organisms are leading science down the wrong developmental path, leading humanity to a dead end. This is definitely a threat to people's health and the environment in general. Primarily, GMOs may result in global infertility of live organisms. Soil microorganisms are already disappearing, along with earthworms, leading to soil degradation. In addition, this leads to the extinction of insects, which results in the extinction of plants that are pollinated by insects. This leads to the extinction of small animals that feed on these plants. Ultimately, the whole food chain is being destroyed, which will result in environmental destruction. It's certain that biotechnology is the future of the world, but we have to be extremely careful with GMOs and transgenic research, because GMOs may become a biological weapon, considerably more dangerous than a nuclear bomb. This type of a biological bomb isn't as obvious as a nuclear one, but once it goes off, the damage inflicted by it would be enormous, and no one would survive its consequences. What can be done? The recommendations are quite simple at this point: to prohibit the use of GMOs in food products. However, since these products end up in stores and on our tables, there are some simple precautionary measures. When you shop, look at the contents of the products that you buy. Но поскольку они все-таки присутствуют в магазинах и попадают к нам на стол, то есть самые такие простые меры по безопасности. Следить за тем, когда вы идете в магазин, что написано на этих продуктах питания. Если есть, например, растительный белок, или, допустим, соевый лецитин, или сама соя. Since it's most likely that the soy is genetically modified, because 97% of all soy is transgenic. Потому что 97% сои трансгенная. Expecting or breastfeeding women should especially try to avoid this type of product. We're talking about food security today. Unfortunately, the recent financial crisis, along with the food and energy crises, demonstrated that the global and national systems are extremely vulnerable. None of us are guaranteed that there will never come a day when we cannot purchase even the simplest of food products. The problems of food security and climate change can be solved. But it's possible to do so only if we unite our efforts and make a decision as early as the end of this year, during a UN summit in Cancun, on a fair and binding agreement for all countries. according to which they would not only reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but also take measures to help adapt to climate change in order to ensure a safe and fair future for all of us.